guys, it's March 20th. It's the first day of spring, and I realize I haven't been showing you guys my seedlings and that whole process. This is my setup. I got this bamboo. Actually, it was meant to go around the toilet. When I put it up on my toilet, it didn't look right. So I bought it down here. I had this space on the wall, and I just went and got these plant lights off of the internet. And so what I have is I put this on the top level, this light, and I have lights under all of the shelving levels. And then I bought this little end table here covered in plastic to protect it from the water underneath. It's not doing a good job because it looks like a little bit of water over there, but that's okay. So I started, this is a artichoke. I seed started in these trays here. So there's a dozen plants in the tray. 2 whole packs of artichoke seeds. This is all I got out of it to survive. So I think it's doing okay. This was the first thing I started sometime in January, followed by the eggplants in February. So these are my Rosa Bianca eggplants. I just go by, I don't do the fan. I just kind of touch them to help with the stem development. And then here's some of my tomatoes back here. I started this tray of, this is a kale blend that I might just do it as microgreens. Some of them are starting to grow out. I just decided to start it like this and see potentially like this one's starting to grow, the second set of leaves. If they grow that far, I'm going to just separate them and put them in a community garden. I just up-potted some other pole tomatoes, and I'm sorry, these are actually San Marzano. These are the only tomatoes I'm growing. I'm not growing any beefsteak, any slicing tomatoes. It never works out. But last year, these San Marzano tomatoes, so I could make sauce, worked out really, really well. This is what was left over after I pulled some of the others out. I just decided they were getting a little bit leggy, but with tomatoes, that's not an issue because you just bury them deep in the pot. And as these grow, I can fill the pots with more soil. So these were a seed starting mix I put in here. When I up-potted them, I got potting soil and amended it with some blood meal for nitrogen. And then I think these are leggy, but I'm gonna just get them in the ground anyway. These are broccoli and cauliflower starts. They're starting to get their second set of leaves. These grow really quickly. I'm hoping to be able to just put these direct from here into the garden bed. You can see these cabbages, which all look very similar, have got their second set of leaves coming here. So I may be able to get those out in the garden soon. I've got a little bit more research. And then up here, I've got more tomatoes. These are pole tomatoes. So these are little red cherry tomatoes. These are slower to start and they're slow to get their second set of leaves. So for right now, I'm leaving them at home in the light. These are marigolds. So my French marigolds did really well on the right here last year. So I decided to grow a few more of these. I've got to get these in the, I got to water these today. On the left, these are the 2 rows on the left. My neighbor last year had these beautiful, full, they look like yellow African marigolds. I just grabbed 2 of the dried seed pods, went out when I was walking my dog, and they came up. So those were free, and those are stunning and beautiful, and they get really tall. The French marigolds are for the community garden to keep the nematodes out of the garden. It worked really well last year. Last year I started way too many and the plants got really big. So I only need about 4 or 5 of those. And then here I'm transitioning my outdoor garden into a cut flower garden in my backyard. So these are some cut flowers, scabiosa. I started these a while ago, and so they're just happy and doing well. So This is part 1. Okay, we're back. So this is part 2. So just now what I did is I went through this 12 pack of seed starts. These are Sun Gold Pole cherry tomatoes. These right in the purple pots. By the way, I just saved these pots from last year when I bought some starts to put in the ground. I think these were nasturtiums that I purchased because I can never get those to grow from seed. I just keep these pots in the shed. And so when I'm ready to up pot, you know, these were probably some kind of flower pack seeds. I just save them. And so now that I'm ready to up pot my seeds, you know, I have them. Also, my local garden center has a pot exchange, and I pulled a stack of these, out of the pot exchange. So those are really good for up potting your seed starts that start out here, and then I put them up to here. And then as these grow tall, like I said, you can backfill the pot. And if it outgrows this, I will, I have bigger ones. I have slightly bigger pots than this. So these are the long purple early eggplants. And I bought them outside in the sun today because it's a beautiful day. These look like they need a little bit of water. It's deceptive because the soil mix I have in here, it wasn't potting soil. I used some old cocoa coir mixed with blood meal and something else that I just had kind of laying around that was extra. I think it was just some of this seed starting soil. So I fed them. They're doing really well, I think. And so, like I said, I brush over them. But what I notice is that they've got a little bit of mold. It's not a big deal, right? But what I tend to do is I'll just take some peroxide and just hit the mold with a tiny bit of peroxide. This container's not very full. Just, there you go. Just to keep the mold under control. Doesn't hurt the plant. But it'll keep the mold from getting out of hand. Now that I'm starting to move these plants around, these white trays are just leftover, recycled from when I buy meat for my dog, for his food. He gets human food. In here, I have some fish fertilized water. So I'm just going to top these off and keep them in this container. And so as I'm pulling them inside and out, you know, back in the house when it gets cooler later, I will, you know, it's just easy and convenient to just pick this whole thing up. So as you can see, seed starting is, people are like, it's expensive. Everything I have here is kind of recycled. Now these I brought outside, just the purple ones I just repotted today. These are my peppers. My peppers are a whole nother story. I started a whole tray of peppers and I dropped half of them. Actually, I'll do that in part 3 and I'll show you what's going on. But I repotted these earlier in the week. So we've got some jalapenos here. This is a jalapeno. This is definitely a serrano. These are definitely purple cayenne peppers. These are amazing. And I actually have another, part 3 is going to be nothing but pepper story. But to end part 2, I just have these in a plastic dish and I put some of this lightly diluted fish fertilized water to feed them and water them out here for a moment. But these are doing really well. I just keep them on this table right inside my sliding glass door so they get sun all day. So this whole thing were these Sun Gold pole tomatoes. These took the longest to get their second set of leaves. and didn't do very well. So I pulled out and selected the best ones. And I really think I'm just not going to do anything with these. So I can free this container up for some flower seeds. I'm going to start some zinnias and sunflowers. And so as I need to start my flowers, I just recycle these containers. So this is how it's going. I think it's going really well. There's no way on earth I'm going to need 12 eggplant plants. I do work out of a community garden, so I can donate some of these to the community garden so we can donate that food to our local pantry. And I'll be right back for part 3. Part 3. This whole tray was filled with nothing but pepper plants. You can see these seed starting trays have 2 halves. And so in the very early, first of all, I'm not sure the date when I put these in the ground. If I find it, it's in my journal because I journal everything that I do. I think it was sometime in February. Personally, I feel like these should be further along than they are. That's why I pulled those others that are out on the counter. I pulled some of them out of these cells and got them up potted when they started to get their second set of leaves. These were really, really, really slow growing, but what I did to get them going a little further is I put this whole thing on a heat mat. Now, I wasn't paying attention that the heat mat would dry up, so I lost a few of these to super dry cells that so the plants didn't make it because they dried up. But putting this, so my house is only 65 degrees in the winter, so I think these were just not getting enough heat. So as soon as I put this whole tray on a heat mat is when a lot of these peppers started to grow their second set of leaves. So I just recognized that my house wasn't warm enough for peppers. Now you see how I am. Each row is meticulously labeled. I start the seeds, I put the seeds in, I can identify them. And here's what happened. This tray is what everything says it is. The purple cayenne, the serrano, and 1 row of jalapeno peppers. Now this side, when I put this on the counter, this happened weeks ago, this whole tray dropped to the floor. These little baby plants were all over the floor. I put these labels back in there, but they don't mean nothing. So as I picked up each pepper meticulously and repotted it back in here, I don't know what these are. So as they're maturing, what I believe these bigger, taller plants are jalapenos. And the only reason I think that is because I have some actual jalapenos over here, and I know from this row that these are jalapenos, and that's probably what these big ones are. And these peppers scattered in here in the middle are likely some kind of Scotch bonnet peppers. These are the ones I really wanted. These are new for me for this year. But whether they are red or yellow, I don't know. So I had 2 rows of red Scotch bonnets and 2 rows of yellow Scotch bonnet peppers. So for these, I'm just going to salvage the one. And by the way, my garden cannot accommodate all of these pepper plants. And, with seeds, you always grow more than you need because you think, like I just lost a whole bunch of these in the middle, right? I have 3 rows of serranos because I just wanted to finish the seed packets. That was just me. I have some more. I have duplicate backups of all of these seeds. Like, this is not even close to as many seeds as I had. And I'm going to salvage as many as I can according to the resources that I have. But today I'm going to up pot a bunch of these out of here. And I'm going to free up this container maybe for something else. Part 4. on our first day of spring. These are pepper plants. I discovered last year in November, I think. It was late. It was the first like hard freezing day. It was right before that. It was anything that was in your garden had to come out that day. Otherwise, it was just going to die. What I did was I pulled these pepper plants out of the ground, washed out the leaves, soaked them in neem oil, and just put them in a little bit of potting soil here. I kept them in a cool, dark place in my house until about the end of January, and they look like sticks. This one in particular. And sometime around the end of January, early February, this table right here inside my house has those grow lights underneath of it. So everything on the floor under there was getting sun from the lights, was getting light all day for 12 hours throughout the winter. So they started to leaf out. I think this one is the purple cayenne, but this one just has some volunteers in the soil. I don't know what that is, but the reason I did this was to see if I could get a jump start on some of these pepper plants. So if these work out throughout for this year, these peppers that I'm growing, it might be I don't even have to do the seeds next year. I can just start these, just keep these dormant. And by the way, I'm confident I did not do this right by their growth pattern. I think they're too tall. I probably was supposed to cut the peppers so like it would bifurcate like this lower down in the stem. But that did not happen last year, but I still got a lot of pepper production. But it took forever. These plants did not produce peppers last year until very late in the season, in the summer. And you can see that they're already producing peppers right now. So we're just gonna wait until probably Mother's Day before these go outside completely. And that's the end of the peppers. I just wanted to jump on and show you guys my eggplants and tomatoes. And this be them. So I've got, I think, 3 Rosa Bianca eggplants, and the rest of them are long purple. I don't have enough space for all of these, so I'll probably give some away. Couple of these plants. This is a tomato that I bought at a organic grocery store. This is one that I started from seed. So you can see they're about the same size. This is a Roma tomato. This is a Sun Gold. The reason why I bought this one at the store is because my Sun Gold tomatoes look like this. I'm just running an experiment. Since I've had these outside, this one actually looks like it's starting to do something. And I planted probably one of these, 12 of these. I only have 2 left. The rest of them died or did not make it. So in the off chance, you know, those 2 don't make it, at least I have some of the tomatoes that I wanted. But all of the rest of these tomatoes I started from scratch. Shout out to the okra lady. This is a San Marzano Roma. I think these are determinate tomatoes that I started from seed. This is the other okra lady tomato. It's big, gorgeous, healthy root stem. This is a San Marzano that I think is indeterminate that I got from, these seeds are from Botanical Interests. And you can just see it could be the type of tomato or plant. We'll see what happens in terms of production, but these 2 are definitely smaller than the okra lady tomatoes. So if anybody, shout out to her. Keep us in stock with the nice hardy seeds with the nice big healthy tomatoes. So that's what's going on. So obviously I'm ready to get these in the ground. These need a little bit of water because we're sitting out in it's 90 degrees. I figured my eggplants and tomatoes would, I'm trying to harden them off and that they would enjoy the heat. Here's some pole tomatoes that I started at the same time I started these. I don't know what is going on with these. The one thing I can say is that my house is cold. So that may have been an issue. But I'm kind of keeping these in here as an experiment. Now that I've been keeping them outside and putting them in the sun, they're starting to do a little something with their inner leaves. We'll see what they do. These, likewise, these potatoes, I had these in here on a heat mat. I got these from Botanical Interest as well. They were grow potatoes from seed. So I'm like, all right, let's check it out. These took about a month to germinate, to see anything. I had them on a heat mat under the dome and nothing for a month. And then I decided maybe it's just too hot for potatoes. So I took them off the heat mat and that's when they sprouted. And now I've been bringing them outside and they've been doing pretty well. I might as well also show you my peppers. So I bought these 3 peppers at the nursery. These are 2 Scotch bonnets and a habanero, a red habanero. I planted one of those 72 cell flats of peppers, and these are the only 3 that are left. Now these 2 are the only ones that did well. This is a jalapeno that's taking off. It's a similar size to the nursery, so I feel like I did that right. And here we have a serrano pepper that somehow has a pea growing inside. I don't even know where that came from. But this serrano pepper, this is probably a little bit of sunburn. But I like the size of these 2. These are the only 2 that worked out. This is the last of the little tiny ones that they stalled and just stopped growing. So of those 72, I did give a bunch away, but I up-potted probably at least like 15 or 20 of them. And those are the only 2 that worked. I got some herbs I started, some parsley, some thyme and sage. Get those. I have that garden tower. I'm going to fill that with herbs. And my green stalk is for strawberries. This is an artichoke that I started. I bought 2 packs of seeds, and this is the only plant that made it. This one might also make it. It's just like a baby one that I was like, maybe it'll do something. I don't know. But I think I started these in like January. You have to start those super, super early. And I have to find a space for that plant. I'm excited because I love artichokes.